Hey everybody, my name's Chris Warren.
My name is Matt Lopes.
You fucked up this time.
No, I didn't.
You fucked up.
No, I didn't. Chris, is there something you want to fucking say?
No, you fucked up.
No, I didn't. No,
he
I
said,
didn't.
"Welcome to the You Should Be Worried podcast."
No, yeah, he's supposed to say that after I introduce myself.
No, Matt, you're supposed to be nameless. You're a mystery character. That's why you always have the
so
sunglasses
fucked
on.
up.
Have you never watched our
said,
podcast?
You said you were supposed. You said.
Have you never
that
watched our
that
podcast?
you wanted to keep doing it the way that we've been doing it.
Which is this, because Ben always cuts out in editing your name so people don't know who you are. They just think
That's not
you're like
true. You're lying. You're lying and you're gaslighting. You want to do? You say it right. Just introduce the podcast, please.
Welcome to the You Should Be Worried podcast.
Fuck Chris Warren and fuck Easy Pass. That's how I wanted to start. I wanted to be like, yo, fuck Easy Pass, because recently I've been traveling, doing comedy, as I do. And on these highways, I'd be passing these Easy Pass shit. And recently they said to build in my fucking house
That was
for $57.
Oh, you probably ran out of money on your Easy Pass.
$57. I don't give a fuck. Never do that. Never do that. I thought this was a free country, Chris. I thought this country was supposed to be free. Freedom to roam. Freedom of range. Free range chickens, like that makes total sense to me. And now you have these fucking this Easy Pass company, and they're being so fucking stupid. Like, don't send a bill to my house. My mom has to pay that shit.
freedom to roam, free range chicken.
I love that this podcast, if you watch it in quick succession, is just the evolution of Matt slowly becoming a Republican. He's like, oh, you gotta pay to use the roads? Aren't that what my taxes are for?
Yeah, it really is fucked up.
Why am I paying taxes?
You can't do that. I don't want to be a Republican, but if Republicans are like, hey, yo, we don't like tolls, then I'm a Republican. That's the only reason I'll be a Republican. That's fine.
Welcome to the party, Matt.
The thing is, though, I used to vote for...
Welcome.
Hi, Malcolm. I used to vote for Ned Lamont. Was Ned Lamont the progressive one?
We only ever get blue candidates in Connecticut.
Fire, that's sick. And so Ned Lamont wanted, like, weed and shit. I remember, he wanted, to legalize weed and shit. And my dad hated that. He didn't want that. And I was like, no, that's why I'm voting for him. And then my dad was like, yeah, but if you vote for Ned Lamont, he's also going to put a bunch of tolls up in Connecticut. And at the time, I wasn't traveling. So I was like, all right, do tolls. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking give a shit. I'll pay a toll whenever I want. Whenever you need me to, I'll pay a fucking toll. And now I'm getting $57 billed to my house every month from Easy Pass. And I'm like, I don't even smoke weed. Why did I want Ned Lamont? Why did I want Ned Lamont in the first place?
Driving through a toll, dude. I don't even smoke weed.
That's why.
Why did I even vote Ned Lamont in?
You should have voted for Linda McMahon, dude.
Oh yeah.
Vince McMahon's wife was running as the Republican candidate for Connecticut. Yeah, it was hilarious.
What was she running on?
I have no idea.
Every hometown state gets a wrestling ring.
Don't they live in Stanford? Right?
Yeah. The headquarters of WWE's in Stanford. I used to drive by it all the time when I worked down there.
Sick.
That's hilarious, Linda McMahon.
Dude.
Linda McMahon. You remember those? 4 or 5 years ago. She was everywhere.
Introducing laws pertaining to the WWE throughout Connecticut when she gets elected. It's so funny.
I wish they had leveraged their WWE contacts more, because all those wrestlers are on contract. They basically have to do what you tell them. They're owned by the studio.
Yeah.
And I wish they had just brought in.
I'm John Cena, and I approve this message.
if you vote for me for president of Connecticut, I swear to God, I will put one WWE wrestler as the bouncer for every town in Connecticut. It's just John Cena standing outside of Monroe,
in a small shirt.
Yeah. You fucking tried to come into Monroe.
Just outside the Ramage nightclub in New Haven. We got all votes from the special needs community for some reason.
Dude, yeah, dude.
I would love it if just they were suplexing criminals.
Dude, yeah.
They're trying to cut down, because that was part of her thing.
Yes.
I know she wanted to cut down on crime, especially in Bridgeport, which made her pretty unpopular because everyone in Bridgeport, including our mayor, is a criminal. So we were all like, that's back when I was doing drugs. She was like, hey, don't you talk about me and my people like that. That's not nice. How else am I going to get cocaine if I don't steal copper from job sites? Okay. I do remember that when I was younger, this was like way back when I was like probably like 21, 22. Me and my friends used to hang out, and there was this place. I forget, it was like someone's uncle or something. I don't remember the exact connection. There was a loose connection to this place.
Okay.
And it was like this warehouse that just had all this copper tubing.
Yeah.
Piping rather, like, you know, for water or, you know, because I guess he was a something in construction. They do like renovations, and so they would take out all the old copper piping and like put in new ones, and they would store it in this storage facility.
Yeah.
And so we would periodically run out of money, and so we would go like down the road because it was like right, you know, he lived right next to his uncle's warehouse. Where we go down the road and go in because, you know, he was family, not to me, to my friend.
Yeah.
And we'd go in and just take some of the copper piping. And over time, we ended up taking like all the copper piping because we thought it was getting replenished, but it turns out this was just like a store of like copper piping from some huge job like 2 years ago they were getting around to selling. And so we kept thinking, oh, they'll put more in, but they weren't. So it just slowly got smaller and smaller until and here's the best part. We had sold all this copper piping for probably like in chunks at a time to the scrapyard. Like over time, we had sold it for maybe like $3,000. And then his uncle was like, "Where the fuck's my copper piping?" And it's like, "Oh, sorry, we sold it. It's not a big. It was only like $3,000 worth of copper piping," which is also a crazy thing to say to someone. It's like, "Oh, we only stole $3,000 from you. It's not that big of a deal."
Yeah.
And he was like, "That was $40,000 worth of copper piping." So we were stealing this copper piping and then getting ripped off by because we didn't know. We'd show up as like 20-year-olds out of our mind, like coming through withdrawals, like, "Hey, how much will you give me for these like 4 pounds of copper piping?" And they'd be like, "Hey, yeah, I'll give you like $100 for that." We're like, "Thanks." And it was like, meanwhile, we just gave them like $1,000 worth of copper piping.
What does the junkyard need to do with the? Like, I always hear about that. Like you could take metals and scraps and take them to the junkyard to sell them, but like, are they just reselling it?
Yeah, so what my understanding is they melt it down because they have like the facilities to do that, and they get when they get enough of it.
Buffalo coins.
Yeah, they turn into buffalo coins of copper
for
$60, and then you can put it in the buffalo machine, and that's how the economy works. It all cycles through.
Yes.
Put it in the penny press at Disney.
I
and
love
make
it.
really flat.
Yeah, but apparently they just get enough that they can wholesale it for
okay.
you know, they ship it to China or wherever. Who knows?
People need fucking copper, dude.
But yeah, I felt that's still something I have to make amends for is that we sold $40,000 worth of copper piping for about
that's
about $3,000 over the course of 2 years. That could have been. I wish we had known because like we were fine with being thieves, but it's like I wish we could have had $40,000 worth of drugs.
Yeah, right.
We only got like $3,000 worth of drugs.
God damn. Linda McMahon does need to, she needs to make more crime. You said legal or illegal?
Well, she wanted to make it illegal.
She wanted to make crime illegal.
Yeah, and at the time I was very upset about it because, like I
That's
said,
cool as
I was
hell.
stealing copper piping.
You know how you do that? You pass a law that makes everybody who's in prison like basically they have if they're in prison like they give their rights away and they have to become a WWE wrestler, and then you send in like Rey Mysterio just to prisons, and then you have them all like brawl. And you televise it.
Matt just reinvented gladiatorial combat. And what if every once in a while you just put a lion in there just to like see what happens? You know, switch it up.
That'd be sick too. Yo, lions in prison.
I would love to see
Where'd they go away for? Killing gazelles?
A guy that's on death row for like killing his whole family that's just been doing like body weight exercises in solitary for 20 years. Just fist fight a lion. Just come out. Face tattooed, ready to fight.
I've always been about it. I've said this like 3 times on the podcast now. I'm very if you're a death row inmate and you consent to a gladiator fight, we should be able to put those on now. You should be able to put those on.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I'm for that.
Before when you were talking about the copper, you said store it. You said just that word, and in my head I was like, store. Why does store? Okay, and in my head I was like, okay, wait, hold on. Why does that sound familiar to me? And it's because back in the 2nd grade, you ever have that school thing where you have to like invent something new, and there's like a show and tell about like what you have to show off your new invention. Mine was a last minute project that my mom came up with because I was like, oh, I got invention.
You were the kid that came in and was like, I need construction paper and glue sticks for my project at like 8 at night.
What to do tomorrow morning?
Second period. And so my mom last minute she cooked up this idea where it's so I brought to school next day. It was called Play Stow. And it's a play on words for about like Play-Doh.
Yeah,
Play-Doh.
I picked up on that.
Right, and it's so she came up with a storage system for Play-Doh to keep it Play-Doh to keep it like still like plump and like moldable and shit.
Is that just
And all it was plastic container.
Just a Tupperware.
100%.
Does it also come in like a
Chris? Yes,
like a little jar?
What it was, dude. I'm sitting there explaining it to the teachers. I'm like, no, but it's different from the jar that it comes in because, as you can see, I took it out of that jar and put it into this jar.
Moisture locking technology.
Yeah, it was a smaller plastic. It was a small plastic container with tape around it. And it's like, no, you keep it in there, and it still is good for way longer than if it was in a jar.
Were you a kid that would eat Play-Doh?
I never ate Play-Doh. No, I never even fucking liked. I used to like Play-Doh.
Play-Doh used to rule.
The thing is, though, like, what happens when? Because if you mix the colors together, they would stay that
Forever.
color.
They'd turn like brown.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if that's the case, then no, yeah. I used to get really bored with Play-Doh
I used to have
pretty easily.
the what's it called, like the dentist set. Remember that, where it was
Oh,
just
yeah.
like very weird. In retrospect, very weird child's toy. It was like a human head
Yes,
that you like
yes.
wenched open the jaw of
Yes.
and put like Play-Doh molded teeth in
Yes.
there, and then you'd like do work on the teeth, and you'd just like
I
pick at the teeth
remember
and
this
shit.
thing,
Yeah, right.
Chris. Oh my god.
And you just destroy this poor man's
Well, it
Play-Doh
looks
teeth.
like Mario.
I always remember like playing with that. My brother's closing the hand. Did you guys ever have the It was a
The alligator.
yes, dude.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
fuck!
I
What is
saw
that
there's
called?
this guy on TikTok now that does a live where he has that alligator, but it's got a bunch of X-Acto knife blades as the teeth.
What the
Yo,
fuck?
that is fucking crazy.
And it just, but like, it's one of those things where you usually think those are scams where it's never going to close and it's just trying to get you to watch. But his does, and he gets fucked up, dude. There's a lot of
You
blood.
guys ever play with this fucking thing?
Yeah, dude, that thing was. What were the
No,
rules
I've
to it? You had
never
to like touch the
You had
teeth
to
and
just
hope you
press
were.
the teeth down, and every so often, one of the teeth would make the alligator's mouth bite.
Yeah.
And dude, like
Then you would lose.
everybody would have fun, and I'd be the only one who'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah, it fucking hurt.
oh,
It hurt.
It would
why,
get you.
Why do you guys like this game? I don't
Right.
want it to be my turn."
They're fucking literally hurting kids with this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the you know those two Asian dudes on Instagram that keep hitting each other with pool noodles?
Oh yeah,
like, yeah, the
those kids
masks
the
are
rubber
on.
band.
Wild.
Yeah,
like-
yeah, the rubber band. So they've been playing with this recently, and then if they're the one that got it, the other person will fucking just pull back the rubber band and just fucking.
Yeah,
smack it in the
I'm not
chest.
playing around with that. That shit looks horrendous.
It's
There
like
used to
the
be-
Asian jackass.
Do you remember? I don't know if it was because I don't think it was a very popular channel, but it was called like Children of Poseidon, and it was no because it was.
Go ahead.
It's called. I think it was called Children, Sons of Poseidon or Children of Poseidon, and it was these three Australian guys that were like borderline mentally retarded. Like they were rough, and they all had like mullets and like neck tat. And this was back in like 2010, so this was before like face tattoos were like a popular thing.
Yeah.
They just had face tattoos, and they would do a bunch of jackass stuff. Like I remember one of them, his name was like Grado or something. It was always looking for the perfect nut shot.
Okay.
And he would go around just like letting people on the street just like uppercut him and kick him in the balls. and like he wasn't wearing a cup or anything. Like it looked painful. And he would like jump off of stuff and like land like that. There was like an episode a week. There was like an update episode one time where he was like, yeah, I gave myself a testicle contortion, so I can't do the perfect nut shot because the doctor says I'm going to lose my testicles if I get hit again. Because he just fucking kept, like, over the course of, like, 10 episodes, he literally destroyed his ability to have children.
Jesus
Because in the
Christ.
comments, everyone would be like, that's fake. And then that video came out of him just in the hospital. Like, my nuts...
Dude, that's so
My
fucking
nuts,
funny.
my nuts swelled to the size of a grapefruit. I was very scared, but thank you for all the nice messages. And then they would do shit like they would
Can't do nut shot no more.
they would
He's crying.
because some of the thing he was upset, like that was his dream. He was upset he had to retire from nut shots. And I remember another good one they did was
I can't do the perfect nut shot no more.
I think this might have been what got their account taken down, because I remember I went one day and their account was taken down. And this was like, so they had because they lived in like the outback of Australia.
Yeah.
These are just like because that was the other thing. They would drive like 4 hours from the outback to like Adelaide or whatever the city that was close to them was, just to go around asking people to punch Grado in the dick. and then they would drive home.
That's just crazy.
So they had this one where
they would drive home.
They just drive home, and they had this one where they had like a branding thing that you do for cows, where you heat up the metal and give them a brand.
Yeah.
And they gave, because Grado was always the one that got the worst assignments.
Jesus Christ.
So they branded him, and they got it too hot. Like, so when it hit him, it didn't make a pattern. Just like all of his skin fell off of his body essentially, but was still attached, and blood just filled the chasm, and it was just like this massive blood blister that was drained down here. He's like, "Oh shit, I think I need to go to the hospital, mate. It was too hot. It was too hot." And they were also chill about
Why
that.
does he sound like that?
That's how he talked.
Dude, he's experiencing the worst pain ever, and he sounds like a fucking Muppet.
He was always chill. He was like, "Oh man, that's not good." And then the other
sounds like a Beatles character.
the other guy, like Bobby or whatever, was like, "Yeah, man, we're gonna take you to the hospital on that one."
Fuck.
And then
Dude, that's
one of the best was they had a blind friend
yeah.
that was in some of the videos. He'd be like in the background, just like, "Oh, that's blind Steve." Like there's that, they just like always like point out that he's blind. He'd just be there like,
Yeah.
and never did anything. But then one episode they're like, "You're always asking like, what does blind Steve do?" So we decided to give blind Steve being one of the stunts. Now we're not fucked up. We're not going to hit a blind guy, but he's going to give me a tattoo. And so
How loud do they yell when they're experiencing the pain? Or are they just like, ugh? Are they like quiet about it, or are they like fucking?
So Grado.
What was their names, Chris?
There was Grado, there was Blind Steve, and I
Can
think
I look these people up? Like, what
yeah,
would I
look up Sons of Poseidon or Children of Poseidon. And so the Grado guy, like, he's got his one arm bandaged up because the branding thing was the week before, and then on the other arm they just let Blind Steve give him a tattoo with no instructions. Just like, man, just feel it out, feels whenever you think it'll look cool, just put it down, mate. And they just fucking are doing it, and it looks horrible. It's just like all these squiggles. Did you guys ever watch? Were you guys like into Jackass as a kid, or is that?
Yeah, I like Jackass.
Not as a kid, but I got into it.
Ugh.
I ended up getting into it further along. I think the first one I saw was 3, the third one.
I always liked their behind the scenes shit more than the actual stuff. Like, it was so much more fun to watch them talk about like being scared about like because you never see that from them in the movies. You know what I mean? You'd always just see that they would be like getting hurt, and you would assume like, oh, like part of them must like this if they fucking or have a tolerance.
Was it a TV
for
show,
this.
or are they always movies?
So they had a TV show. I think there's only like 3 seasons
Yeah, it didn't last
of original
long.
Jackass, and they're all like 6-episode seasons. Like,
And it's like there's only so much of that you could do before people stop.
well,
wanting to do it.
apparently they got canceled because all the parents got up in arms that Jackass was like a bad influence. So MTV canned it. So they're like, oh, we can make a movie though, because you can't really regulate what's in a movie.
Yeah,
And then
facts.
the Jackass one was like went so big, and that's how they kind of like
fucking
grew
sick.
from there.
What was before? Wild Boys.
Yeah. So there was
Did you ever watch Wild Boys with Steve-O and fucking what was his
yeah,
name?
dude. Steve and Chris Pontius.
Yes, dude, that was the best show ever.
Because you learn something about the animals, you know. That's the
Yes.
thing. Is
Yes,
it was
like-
educational. And who was that guy that was like their wildlife guy that just looked like a caveman? He just had like he just
what the
literally
fuck
like
was
lived
that?
outside and had no shirt on in any scene.
These guys were like the original.
Pontius, the one that passed away.
No, that's Ryan Dunn.
Oh, okay.
This was like Steve-O getting like they would like go into the wild and like
They would basically just
they'd be like all like
molest animals.
they'd be all like they pretend like they were like part of it, and like it was like jokey, but then they would like go out like among like these like African tribes where these people are like, don't touch that snake, and he'd be like, yeah, just let it bite him.
Yeah, no, it was Wild
so
Boys was
ridiculous.
great because it was just basically the epitome of white privilege. That these 2 white guys would show up in like Ecuador, and all the locals would be like, hey, it's culturally really insensitive to bother that porcupine. Please leave it sacred to us.
Yeah.
And like, oh, whatever, dude. And they just pick it up and shake it and like get completely covered in spice. Like, fuck, this porcupine sucks. And like throw it. And the Ecuadorian guy's just like fucking
Shaking
crying.
it is crazy. Picking it up is one thing. Shaking it's so funny. Holy shit.
Yeah, shouts out to Colonialism for giving us Wild Boys.
I was in New Hampshire this past weekend.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be up there for 2 days, and so I went up there Friday. We did a show. The show went really well, and then I could have gotten a hotel room. only for like $100. It would have been cheap as fuck and everything. But I was like, you know what? Let me give sleeping in my car a chance.
So you got the new car.
I got the new car, and I will say, fucking comfortable.
Comfortable car.
Very comfortable to sleep in. The only thing that I hated, and this is actually why you should be worried. You should be worried about like finding a good place to sleep in your car. Like, because if you pick any place, that's horrible. Like, you have to be really careful about the spot that you pick. That's all I'm trying to say.
You mean where you leave your car when you're gonna sleep?
Yeah, where like you're parking the car to sleep. Like, you have to pick a safe area that you don't think people are gonna like come and bother you while you're sleeping. Yeah. You know,
or have a problem.
Because I swear to God, if I had picked the wrong spot and I'd woke up in the middle of the night and I opened my eyes to like look out my window and someone was staring at me while I was sleeping, I'd kill myself. I'd be like, this is the scariest thing.
I'm surprised in New Hampshire of all places that no one broke your window to Narcan you because they thought you were fucking nodding off.
Facts,
what?
Dude. They have the most Narcan usage in all of the country.
Yeah.
What is Narcan?
It's when someone's ODing on heroin or opioids. You give them Narcan, and it does something to disrupt the chemical reaction, so like you don't overdose.
They do that a lot in New Hampshire?
Yeah, like everyone in New Hampshire is dying from opioid addiction.
Oh fuck! I was just sleeping in my car with I had a hoodie over me.
That shit happens. People will try to take naps in their car, and they'll just like be in a sketcy area. So they'll be like, oh my God, that guy's dying on Narcan. And they'll break into their window to like save their life. Like, yo, what the fuck?
Jesus Christ. I picked because like at first I was like, all right, this McDonald's is a 24-hour McDonald's. Like, this will be fine. Like, I could just park here. And I started I was hanging out. It was like maybe around like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I get up because like I have to use the bathroom. So I walk up to the McDonald's, but it's closed. And I guess, all right, so I guess it's not a 24-hour. On Google, it said it was, but I guess it's not. And so I'm walking back to my car.
I love how the McDonald's is like your hotel room.
Yeah, no,
you get up and you're like, I might as well take a shower.
Excuse me,
I've been locked out of my room. Can I please get another key card?
I was planning on using that bathroom the next morning to brush my teeth and shit and everything, but it was closed. So what happened was I'm walking back to my car and I have the key and I make the car alarm go off to unlock the car. It goes beep, beep. And all of the frogs and the birds around my car at nighttime that were being very loud start mimicking the noise of my car alarm. And I'm like, this is the scariest thing I've ever been a part of in my life. It's like in the Hunger Games where Katniss Everdeen she starts whistling and then all the birds start mocking that whistle. I'm like, I didn't ask for this. I got so fucking freaked out. I was all by myself. It was 1 o'clock in the morning in a McDonald's parking lot, and now all the birds are getting me scared, giving me nightmares. And so I got back in my car and I was driving, and I found this 24-hour gas station called Circle K.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. You've heard of Circle K?
Yeah.
It's my first time ever seeing that place.
Well, they're usually in different states, but
yeah. So I was there and I walked in. I used the bathroom there, and then I slept. I just slept in my car, and it was very okay. But I did not want to do the McDonald's because the only thing about the McDonald's parking lot was when I got there, it was open and there were people walking around the dumpsters. Pretending that was their home. They were getting real aggressive about the dumpsters.
Yeah, because that's where they do heroin, Matt. Leave them alone.
Yeah. And so I got there, all right, that's fucking weird. And then I'm on my phone until 1 o'clock in the morning, and around 12 o'clock, they're still fucking there. And I'm like, what is the purpose of this? And yeah, I recognize that they're probably drug addicts.
I like to think you weren't wearing your glasses, and it was just, there are all these tiny fuzzy men around the dumpsters, bunch of little raccoons.
You should have gone to a Walmart. That's what people recommend when you sleep in your car. So,
really?
Yeah, no one bothers you in Walmart.
Nobody bothers you there. And it's also, they don't care if you leave your car. They have such huge parking lots.
And it's super well lit.
And it's very well lit, and homeless people don't fucking go do drugs at a McDonald's dumpster at a Walmart.
Wait, but what if the Walmart's not a 24-hour Walmart?
No, it's just the fact that that's a place where those lights will be on.
Yeah, those lights will keep you safe.
But is that still also, if a cop sees you there, they can tell you to leave?
No, they don't give a fuck at Walmart.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, damn, good for Walmart. Really letting people just do what they want there.
Yeah, because, I remember my grandfather, I don't know, so on my mom's side was living for a little while.
Van life. Shouts out Van life.
He was saying how Walmarts are his best friend. So that's a great idea.
There were no commuter lots. Well, at least there probably were, but in New Hampshire, like, on maps on maps on my phone, I would look up commuter lot and nothing would pop up.
I feel like you should have gone to you should have found like a 24-hour Walmart and gone to their home theater department and just sat there and been like, I would like to watch Planet of the Apes, please.
Yeah, fall asleep in the chair.
Well, guys, that's been the You Should Be Worried podcast. As always, it's Chris Warren here with you. You can follow me at Chris Warren Comedy on Instagram. You could also follow the podcast at You Should Be Worried on Instagram and TikTok. You Should Be Worried Pod.
There you go.
And you should like, comment, follow, subscribe. Say something anti-Semitic to me in the comments. That tends to get the algorithm going. You can follow Benny. You can follow our producer Ben at BennyBoy_28. Also follow In the Making ITM on Instagram and TikTok. That's a great sketch channel. These boys do sketches every week. I'm in them sometimes.
Hell
and
yeah.
you can follow Matt at the ill-named Matty Fucko on
What do you mean
TikTok
by ill
and Instagram.
All right, I might use that button. That's a good button. I love when you use that button. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week. I love you. Have a good night.